is Nate Albaugh, head football coach of Milford System Park Bearcats. That is in Milford, Illinois, and today we are back to the Quickscreen Show studio, which is also known as my living room. Let's talk coaching football. Today, before we get going, I have to show off my new shirt. It is the new Chief Pigskin shirt. I've got my logo here. It says Chief Pigskin here on the neck. Don't know if you saw that or not, but it's a super comfy shirt, some sort of performance wear, and I'll throw it up on the site for sale here in a couple weeks, as soon as I can get around to it. So go ahead and purchase yourself one if you love to support the site. But let's move on from there. I'm going to talk about how to handle a delay in a football game. If you were watching the Super Bowl, which I'm going to go ahead and assume all of us were watching the Super Bowl, you noticed that in the second half there was a 30-plus minute delay. And it became a pretty major topic of discussion because before the delay, the Niners were pretty well getting thumped. In fact, the Ravens had just returned a kickoff for a touchdown, so huge momentum in favor of the Ravens. But then after the delay, here come the Niners again. And thank goodness, really for my own viewing pleasure, it became a heck of a football game. But it got me thinking, hey, this is a huge delay that is now a major topic of discussion from everyone, interviewers. How do you handle that delay? How did that affect you? It got me thinking, how would we handle a delay like that on my staff? So let me start off by saying I don't know really, because I've just started to think about this, and we have never had to handle a mid-game delay, at least so far. You know, it's only a matter of time, I suppose, until you run into a mid-game delay, but it could happen, and sometimes it seems to kind of happen in bunches, you know, where some seasons it's chronic bad weather. So who knows, next season could be one of those seasons of chronic bad weather, and we could have to handle several delays. Now, in high school football, they're usually not having to do with the lights, but they're usually having to do with lightning delays, and we have those. And we got delayed last year, but it was before the game started, and after 15 minutes into the delay, we just went ahead and called the game and rescheduled it for the next day. So I don't really have experience in this huge mid-game delay, but I've had some thoughts and since thinking about that delay of how do you handle that. So let's go ahead and dive in. First of all, I think it's important for us as a staff to realize that this is a mental hurdle. It really shouldn't affect anything that's going on physically in the game, because your muscles are your muscles and your body is as ready as it is. You need to allow it time to get warm again before the start of the game, however long you and your staff determine that would take, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, maybe it's 20, to get your bodies ready again physically to play ball. But outside, you know, they're dealing with that same physical difference there, so they've got to deal with that. I think the biggest hurdle here we all have to realize is, hey, this chunk of time thrown in that we just have to stop playing, this is a mental hurdle. And it's really about which team, which side, which group of kids, even coaches, is going to handle this mental hurdle better. How do we stay in game mode? How do we not get worn down from game mode? If we had the momentum, how do we not let it steal our momentum? And if we didn't have the momentum, how can we use this to almost get some of it back? The next thing that came to mind is, I think, don't be afraid to rest. If you know you're dealing with a 30-plus minute delay, I think it's important to rest. Allow the kids to come in and sit down. In many ways, if you think it might be close to a halftime size delay, why not treat it like halftime? You know, we have a plan for halftime. Every game we take this 20-minute break, so we have a plan for the 20-minute break. I think that if you run into another delay, it's going to be halftime sized. Maybe it's 30 minutes instead of 20. I think your first default plan should be, we treat this like halftime. If it's 30 minutes, we're used to 15 or we're used to 20. Okay, there's 10 minutes here we need to handle somehow. We need to deal with this 10 minutes. But the rest of this should be like a halftime. What does your staff do at halftime? I would try to do the same thing. Again, just because we all have a plan for that. So we don't have to go to some emergency backup plan. You just go right into your halftime routine. Kids are used to it. And yes, it's funny to have two halftimes in a game, but it's not that bad. It's not necessarily anything that should throw your team off completely. So that's my first idea is let's try to just treat this like halftime. Now, what if you deal with a bigger delay? A lot of high school games can get delayed an hour, maybe an hour and a half from lightning. Here comes the storm. At least in Illinois, the rule is once they see lightning, right? In fact, I think it's even hear thunder, there has to be a 30-minute delay after that before you can start. So it could be 29 minutes into the delay, you're about ready to start, and you hear thunder again. It resets, 30-minute delay again. There's no doubt this could be tough because you could be just about ready to play, and then you're right back to square one with another 30-minute delay. And you're supposed to, I guess, you got to go back inside, treat it like another halftime. This is tough. It's going to be tough on your kids. But the thing you have to remember is it's tough on their kids as well. So I think you just have to quickly just put to rest any complaints or any murmurs of this is hurting us. This isn't hurting us. And you just have to believe it. You have to convince your staff to believe this is not hurting us, this is helping us. Every time it happens. I don't care if you have to put on the fake face for an hour and a half that you truly believe this is helping you. Believe it. Convince yourself it's helping you, and then let everyone else truly feed off your energy that this is helping us. This delay is the best thing that could have happened. To press into this further, it really got me thinking in handling like an hour-long delay. I know that the biggest problem that with our teams in handling delays is that, you've got a whole bunch of kids, they're in football gear, and they're in a locker room, and you're just sitting. It's extremely boring, number one. And you're nervous, you're antsy, and at this time, 30 minutes in a locker room like that can really just be a mild form of like mental torture. It just drags, and your kids usually would be silent because what do? You feel dumb kind of laughing and screwing around because in your brain you should be focused. But at the same time, you can only sit silently staring at each other for so long. So I think this got me thinking, last night got me thinking, I need to have a plan in place for that extra 30 minutes. I can handle the 20 to 30, that's halftime. I got that. What about this next 30? If I got an hour delay here, what do? The first thing I could think of is I need to find a way to get the kids' minds off of football. We need a break. You need a recess time. And it sounds strange, but I think, my thought right now anyway, is allow the kids to not think about football. Have a release for them. They need to get away from it for a second. Use the 30 minutes to really, you're just trying to occupy their brain. That's it. And I was trying to think, what on earth could you do in a locker room to occupy the kids? Right now I have one idea, and if I had to play a game today and we had an hour delay, I would go ahead and use this idea because, hey, it's all I have right now. And I think that you break your whiteboard out that you're using to draw all your plays on, and you break out some paper of some sort, and you play Pictionary. Why not? Let the kids laugh. Let them have some fun. Throw some football terms in there, and pit the juniors against the seniors or an offense against a defense, whatever you want, and have your coaches in there as well, and all of you guys. Have some fun. Take a 30-minute break from all of it and enjoy yourselves. Laugh. Let the 30 minutes go by quickly. Because 30 minutes playing Pictionary, that's not that long. That'll fly by. And then all of a sudden you get the word from somebody, whoever's your lookout guy, hey, it's 30 minutes now, we're going. Boom. Set the Pictionary aside. Now you go back in halftime mode. Let's get back into football mode. And I think the best thing about that is that mentally now your guys, they're in a good mood. They're happy. They're not coming off that break going, and trying to pick yourself back up. It's like waking up in the morning. That's tough. It takes a long time to get up and get going. So instead of that, they feel like they just left a party. They're in a good mood. They're in high spirits. And now they can quickly go back into this let's play ball mode because, hey, I'm in a great mood. As of right now, that's the only idea I have. I want to pick your guys' brains, so please chime in on the forums, go to the Quickscreen show topics, and let me know any ideas you have. Have you had to deal with a break or a huge delay in the past? How did you handle it? Did you think it went well? What would you do differently? What do you think? Pictionary, horrible idea? You're free to tell me that that idea sucks. I'm okay with that. Tell me the idea stinks and then offer up a better idea. I want to learn from this. So go ahead, chime in on the forums. Let me know how you guys in the past have handled delays or how you plan on handling a delay in the future. As you know, every time you chime in, you are entered in on a drawing for this book right here, AFCA's Offensive Football Drills, giving this away in the 1st of March, the first episode in March, doing a drawing for this book. Every time you chime in on the forums, your name is in on the drawing once again. Thanks to all you guys who are consistent watchers, viewers of the Quickscreen Show. I really appreciate it. And looking forward to next Tuesday when I see you here again. And until then, man, coach them up.